And welcome back. Now in this part of the video we're going to look at how we can create this app, which in fact if you're sharp-eyed you would have noticed it's changed a little bit since that initial development, because although the app itself worked well, the code behind it wasn't really the best. It was very rough and ready. This is much cleaner and actually shows you a bit more of what you can do. So this is an updated version and I think you're going to like it. So what I'm going to describe then is how to create this app to control the communication between your Android phone and this HC06 or HC05 Bluetooth module. So on here, as you notice now, it says we can choose our BT device, so I can give you this program and you can load it up into your phone and it will work just the same as it does here. So you can connect to your chosen BT device. Now as you can see here, your Bluetooth devices are listed, and as I mentioned, my one is called RSB, so let's select that one and it tries to do its thing and it says it's connected. If you notice, the status is now up here as well and the flashy bit has stopped, so that means I really am connected. Also, I've changed the program now to read some data back from the Arduino. Rather than just hoping that it had connected and done its thing, we're now actually reading this back. So when I press on, like that, and this light here is now on, as you can see, the status here goes on. Now that's not me just programming this on. What I'm saying is send the on command, which as you know from the previous video is a 1, down the down the Bluetooth wire to here, sends that on. This then sends back via the Bluetooth a value that tells me this is on. In fact, it does send back the ON, literally those characters, and I just display whatever it sends. Ditto for the off. So I send off, the light goes off, Arduino sends me back some characters which says off. Now, I was going to change the colour of all this, so when it was on it was red and when it was off it was green and all that, but I thought, okay, stop. Let's keep this simple, because if you take this app and plug it in to your piece of hardware here, it will work just the same for you as it does for me. Then you can load up the project in the MIT App Inventor 2 and make whatever changes you want on there. Do whatever you like, it's yours to play with forever. So let's have a look at how we need to code, well I say code, put the puzzle together for this. Right, here we are then at the MIT App Inventor screen. Now I have projects, well I've only got a couple of projects here. So if we look at my projects initially, there's two here. There's the demo, which was the original very simple thing. And then there's now the Bluetooth HC06, which is the one I'm going to share with you. So that's what it looks like, and that looks exactly like what we get on screen. There's my screen, and it looks just the same. Brilliant. So how do we develop it? Well, first of all, you need to read a little bit about what it's telling you about how to connect your phone. What happens is you connect your phone via your Wi-Fi to basically this website whilst you're developing this, and by a bit of magic behind the scenes they update this phone even as you're writing this app. So if you make a change here, it will become reflected on your phone in real time, well, a few seconds delay, and you'll see the effect of what you're doing here immediately. It's really good feedback. Now, Benny, my cat, has just decided to join me for this because he's very interested in Bluetooth technology, aren't you, Benny? So I'll just make sure he doesn't try and disturb things, and then we'll continue. Oh, you go in, are you? Right, you've had enough of Bluetooth technology, I see. Okay then. Well, we'll see you later, okay? Thank you. Thanks for dropping by. Right then, Benny's gone to sleep, so let's go and continue what we were saying here. So this is updated in real time, pretty much, as you're doing stuff on here. Right? So if you change this, just to give you a quick demo, let's not launch the app, we've got to launch the companion. So there's the companion app, which it tells you all about in the connecting your phone over tablet. It tells you how to launch the companion app, which you can get from the Play Store. I recommend you do that because then you get updates. And this is what it looks like when you've downloaded it. So your development is on the PC, and I guess Mac, but I can't swear to that. And the real-time updates happen on your phone. And when you're happy with your app, then you send yourself the app package and install it just like you would as though it came from the Play Store. Okay, so having got your phone with the companion app loaded, it then says, well, somehow now I've got to connect. I've got to know where I'm connecting to. So we go to connect. As you can see, I'm already connected here, but because I've disconnected myself and reconnected myself, it doesn't know I've done that. So we're going to reset connection, and then we're going to say AI Companion. So connect to your AI Companion. That's what this is running on here. Pretty simple. It says there's the code. Now I'm going to say scan the QI code, and now I'm going to move my phone over to the screen. There's the QI code. There it is. I'm trying to scan it while filming it at the same time. Right, it's done that. There we are. So now I'm connected to this development environment. And just to prove that, if I click on this little text box here, we'll come on to what these are in a sec, and change the colour. So this is called the LED status checkbox. There it is. Background colour is currently green. If I change it to red, there it is, red on the screen, and look, my app refreshes and lo and behold it says red on there. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? No, I don't want red. I do actually want green, so I'm going to change it back, and there it goes, and it refreshes in real time. And that was pretty quick, wasn't it? Let's face it, it's pretty much real time. And this will do exactly what it will do on the actual real live app, or it'll look like the app, let's put it that way. Right, enough of this. I'm going to put this down now, and we're going to concentrate on the program itself, because that will take us at least 15 minutes to complete this video. So that goes down, we switch that off. Right, let's think about this. So here we have a screen that emulates the Arduino screen, whatever size screen you've got. And you can play about with the layouts and things on here. If you look at what I've got, which is this bit here, this is where the entire hierarchy of components exists in this part here. And initially you want your layout. So if you click on layout, you've got a horizontal, table and vertical. So these really wide ones that go right across and contain things are horizontal arrangements. And the ones that go down, so this one here, for example, where I've got a label and then a box underneath it, that's a vertical arrangement. So you simply drag these across, put them on here, set the width to the full parent. So if I click on my horizontal arrangement here, that one, as you can see here, look, width fill parent, which means fill the entire screen with that element. So here's the containing element, that entire width. Now within that, I said there's a vertical one, which means I've got a main title, I've got a couple of labels and buttons and what have you, which you'll be able to spot very easily in the code. So this is the layout. If anybody's done any VB6, it reminds me pretty much of that actually, where you design a screen first and then you wire up all the events behind the scenes. So anyway, you need to experiment a little bit. Now the only thing that I can bring to your attention at this stage is that we do have a Bluetooth client here and a notifier. In fact, we also have a clock, which we don't need, so I'm going to delete that because we certainly don't need a clock. That was just part of my experimentation. So a notifier is what you have when you have messages to display to the user. Now it's not brilliant, I've got to admit, maybe I've done something wrong. Well actually, as you can see here, look, I've got background colour dark grey, text colour white, so it's pretty boring. But I can demo that when I show the app. The Bluetooth client you do need, because that gives you all the facilities then to communicate with the Bluetooth client. You just drag it on and it falls down the bottom of the screen somewhere. Right, there it is. There's the Bluetooth client and there's the notifier. So they're not visible, as it said, non-visible components. Okay, so just to prove the point, I'm going to take them off screen again. Right, now having gone through here and you've gone, yes, I want one of these and I want a couple of buttons and stuff. So in the user interface you have buttons and checkboxes and whatever you want. You go, great, okay, that looks fine now, and the bits that are important are given names to. So for example, this on button, I've actually called it BTN on, and similarly for the button off. But the bits that you never touch, well, you can just call them labels, or leave it as the default. So for example, this one here, this status, is just a label. I've not bothered changing it because we're never going to address it in our code. But the status we will, we're writing back the response from the Arduino in there. And these are just little labels here, just so I can promote my site. I'm sure you all forgive me for that. Okay, so we've dragged in some various elements onto here, and that looks great, but then now we've got to put them together. This is very different. So if we go to blocks, you think, whoa, what is that? Okay, let's do this step by step. The way this is coded is that it allows you to drag these sort of puzzle elements, and if you notice they're all shaped in a certain way, so you can snap other elements into them, and they all basically form logical blocks of code. So as an example, let's just build one, for example. If we have an if then else. Now if then else, as you can see, it's got a little indentation at the top, which means it should really be snapping into something else. So if we look at this when, for example, this is a global. When something happens, it's an event handler. When something happens, and what happens is what you decide here, then do something. So let's find where the when element exists and drag that in. So here we are on screen 1. Now if you click the actual elements, you get all the bits that are not generic. So these bits at the top are the control, logic, maths and all this. These are all very generic and apply to everything. But the actual procedures that you can apply to an individual item are available to you when you click the actual element. So on the screen, you can say, for example, look, when screen 1 back pressed. So when the button is pressed, the back. When screen error occurs, when screen initializes. That's what we've got in here, when the screen initializes. So let's have a look how we might build that. So you click it and it turns into this grabbable element. So you can go, right, when the screen initializes. Now, if you notice, I've got an error here because I've already got a when screen initializes. Just ignore that for now. It only allows me screen 1 because that's what I clicked on. So when the screen initializes, what do we want to do? Well, we could say if the Bluetooth client has not been enabled, just like this. Look, so you go, right, if. And if is a general item, that's a control item. There we go. If then else. And if you look, that snaps in there, it even highlights it. Snap, in it goes. Then the word not, well, that's a logic not. It's generic, it doesn't apply to any one of the elements. You click on logic, you pick out the not, and you snap it in. And then Bluetooth 1 client enabled. Well, Bluetooth client, that's very specific, isn't it, to the Bluetooth client. So you scroll down to your Bluetooth client, click that, and there you get lots of stuff on here. And we'll scroll down to the bit where we're interested. Here we are, the green ones. Bluetooth client enabled. Here we are, look, here it is. You click on that, drag it over here, and snap it in there. So if it's not enabled, what do you want to do? Well, we want to call our notifier. If you remember on the designer, down the bottom, one of the non-visible elements, which I'm now going to have to drag up. There it is, the notifier down the bottom here. There we are. Right, so go back to our blocks, our building blocks that is, or coding blocks, and we'll say, right, we want to call our notifier now. So we go down to our notifier, which is actually this bit here, and click on that, and we say, well, I want to call my notifier and set something, do something with it. So we find the appropriate one. So we say call notifier, show alert. Here it is. Drag that. Now we've moved off screen, so let me just grab that back. That snaps into there. You can see a little highlight and the little snap sound. I don't know if the microphone picked that up or not. And basically you can see how this is building up into a duplicate of what I've got over here. So you find the element and the logic parts you want and you build up this block of code. And that is basically how it happens. So I'm going to describe these blocks of code. You can have this code to plug into MIT App Inventor 2 and then do your own thing. All right? Now, to delete stuff, you can either move it down to the trash or just highlight the outer one and that will delete everything on the inside, and that's a pretty severe event. So if you say delete 5 blocks, off it goes. That's it. Okay, so this program now has got 4 main blocks. The first thing is when we open the app up and say, well, the screen is now initializing, it checks that the Bluetooth client is enabled. So if you've switched off Bluetooth, you'll get an error and it says Bluetooth not enabled, use settings to enable. You want to see that in action? Okay, so let's disconnect from here and run the actual app itself. This is my app here. Now, as you can see there, nothing else came up. It just worked really because I have got Bluetooth. Now, if I take that off and disconnect my Bluetooth like that, so I haven't got the Bluetooth running now, and fire it up, look, I get that message. Bluetooth not enabled, use settings to enable, and then it disappears. That's the standard Android behavior. So we'll set the Bluetooth up again and fire up the app, and you don't get the error message. So what's happening on screen here, it's coming up to initialize, it's saying if not Bluetooth client one enabled, well it is enabled, so nothing much happens really. Apart from this statement here, it sets this bit here to off, because initially the little LED over here, where am I, over here, will be off. Great. So what does the next block do? It says here, before picking, that is before we've done any picking, and it gives you some help there if you notice. The Bluetooth picker is this thing here, what I've called it BT picker. So before that, before we picked anything, it goes around and hunts for all the elements that it can fill that list with, basically all your Bluetooth clients. So it hunts around, fills that list with all the Bluetooth clients that you've got available to you. And then it says, after you've selected something, go and connect to the one that you've selected. And having selected, I then set this little label here to connected. So we choose our Bluetooth client, there you are, it's gone away and it's found all those previously as part of the initialization. I connect to my Bluetooth, and as you can see the light over here is now steady, and that label has gone to connected because Bluetooth has told me it's connected. It's not me just arbitrarily setting it, it really has connected. And then we have 2 almost identical blocks of code here, and I could have moved these into a procedure, but for simplicity I decided not to. It says when we click the on button, that's this one here, and we're connected, send a 1 down the Bluetooth Ethernet to here, and then receive back the reply. And I've said, look, there are 2 bytes to come back, so receive those, go and get them, and whatever they say, put them into this little label here, which I've called LED status. Exactly the same happens pretty much with the off button. I say, as long as I'm still connected, send down the 0 down the old Ethernet to here, which then the Arduino interprets and does its thing, sets the LED to off, and it also sends back via Bluetooth to my phone 3 bytes, which is OFF. I know it's going to be 3 bytes because I wrote the code, as you will, and we display whatever it sent back in here. So when I click on, it goes on, but it's not me just setting this arbitrarily, remember, it's whatever is coming back from the Arduino as that BT serial.print. and we display that here. And ditto with the off. So that's the two-way communication with the Bluetooth device, and you can use it for any Bluetooth capable device, but of course no other Bluetooth device is going to respond to the stuff we send out from here. It's only your HC05 or HC06 that's going to do that. So really that's all there is to it. I say all there is to it. I realise that if you're looking at this the very first time and going, what is all this about? I strongly recommend that you have a go. Have a go because it's easier than you think. I've shown you how to connect some of the bits together and they snap in. And if you get to the point where, say you had something like this and you think, well, I want to put that on the end there. Oh, got an error because I've disconnected. Well, that means you're trying something that just isn't possible. You cannot do that. Your logic is wrong. This will not let you create logic that doesn't work. Okay? So you just have to look at some other examples or look at this example to see what you can do. And remember, to get specific actions for your elements, you have to click on the elements. So if you wanted to do something specific to button on, click that and it'll show you everything that you can do with that button. All different things. Whether it's setting the background colour, setting the foreground colour, or an action. When it's this, do something. Okay, now I'm going to put on the bottom of this video not only the app for this, I'm going to put the actual app that you can just grab onto your PC and send yourself in email to your phone. And when it comes as an attachment to your phone, you just click it and your phone will go, whoa, do you really want to install this? Or it might prevent you installing it if you haven't set in your settings, allow applications from devices, from sources other than the Play Store. So you must set that off first. But once you've done that, it will just install as it has done here, and you'll end up with a little icon like that. I'm pretty sure we can change that icon. That's probably a default icon, but I haven't found that yet. In fact, I haven't even looked for it. So I'm going to send you the app. I'll also send you this code. The code here that you're looking at on screen actually turns into a project. I'm going to apply that to the bottom of this video as well. You can then send it up here. You can upload it. I think you can you send it. Let's have a look. Right, I'm not sure, but I'll put it into the notes how to send it back up. Oh, there we are. Import project. So I'm going to put the AIA file, .aia file, at the bottom of this video. You import it here as part of the MIT Inventor 2, and then you'll get exactly what you're seeing on screen here, the whole thing, and then you'll be able to play with it, and then your understanding will increase dramatically once you've tried a few things out. Right, I think that's all you need to know for now. What you do get though from this is two-way communication from your Bluetooth device, although the HC06, as I say, cannot initiate the connection, only your Android can. And whilst this only controls a rather simplistic LED down here, remember that could be well, at the very least a relay to turn on a table lamp or something, which should impress somebody, or your music, or perhaps, I don't know, draw your curtains if you've got an electric motor on it, something like that. Anyway, but if you've got any ideas how this could really be implemented, then please share on the video notes below, because other people will read it and go, yeah, I never thought of that, and that's how things get shared.
That was easy.
If you like the video, then don't forget to do a thumbs up, share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope you're finding these videos interesting and useful. You can leave comments down below, and also click that little button that says subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.